At this time, I'd like to recognize Ranking Member Kaptur for 5 minutes for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll just ask one question and allow my colleagues to go on, and I'll come back in the second round. Mr. Secretary, our Constitution delegates to Congress the responsibility of the power of the purse. During your confirmation hearings, you acknowledge the executive role in this system, and I'm quoting you directly, you, in quotes, you would respond to issues of concern to Congress. And that's what I want to ask you about. It is now May 7th. In last January, February, March, April, May, 5 months ago, we sent a letter to the department to your attention to freeze, relative to the department's actions to freeze funding to vital energy programs. We followed up with a letter to you the next month in February on the same topic, freezing funds to vital energy programs. In February, we requested a briefing from you regarding the firing of NNSA workers and other Department of Energy staff. It's serious and it's consequential. And then last month, April, we sent another letter, follow-up letter, regarding setting an arbitrary 15% cap on indirect costs for university research grants, which are going to have significant impact across this country. Mr. Secretary, I have to tell you, and I know you've been busy, but we have not had a single response to any of those requests, despite the commitment that you made to Congress to respond. Can you please explain how you might address this going forward?
You bet. I've received numerous dozens of letters accusing me of things that are reported in headlines, in blog posts and media all over the place, almost all of which are false. Everyone who's reached directly out to me, I've jumped on the phone with, I've texted back. I've not responded to the dozens of letters yet because we're in the middle of reorganizing the department. But a few quick summary points I'll hit. We have not frozen funding. We don't have a single unpaid invoice at our department, not one. If we have an ongoing project for an existing commitment and work is being done, we've paid our bills, all of our bills. We are reviewing existing projects. We've canceled 0 so far, much to the frustration of people on the other side as well. There's a huge deployment of United States funds allocated by Congress and administered by the Department of Energy. I take that responsibility deathly serious. Every night, I go to bed worried about that, and I wake up in the morning to make sure that we are being appropriate stewards of American taxpayer funds. And we are reviewing, and I'll walk through later in more detail exactly how we're doing that. But let me say up front, why do we need this careful study right now? You guys are moving too slow. Active projects where work is being done, we've paid our bills. We've never not paid our bills, never. In the last administration, let me give one example because it's indicative of other financial support programs. The Loan Program Office is 15 years old. In its first 15 years, it deployed a little over $40 billion towards energy projects. 15 years, a little over $40 billion. We had an election in November. From the day after that election until Inauguration Day, the Loan Program Office issued $100 billion of loans and loan commitments, 2.5 times what was done in 15 years. They did in 76 days.
Mr. Secretary, thank you very much for beginning to respond. I'm not asking about the entire loan portfolio. I'm asking why you haven't answered 4 requests from the Congress of the United States in the House here.
I'm here
and by the way, it's a bipartisan request, and it is bicameral.
I could not do the work I'm doing and responded to the dozens of letters I've got. I've had several phone calls. I'm happy to jump on the phone with you at any time. And it's hard to respond to requests where the premise of the questions and the premise of the accusations are simply false.
Well, sir, do you have a congressional staff hired yet?
I do. I have. It's lean and mean, but it's actually a tremendous staff.
Well, we have not since January gotten a response to our letters to you, And we're very concerned about the firing of NNSA workers and Department of Energy staff. What percentage fewer staff do you have now than you did in January when you inherited the office?
People in the doors that are on the staff right now, it's low single-digit %. We are working on a restructuring of the department, which will be a more meaningful change in that, but it is in progress and it's almost entirely voluntary.
And how many thousands have left?
Well less than 1,000.
Well, would I have your commitment that you could look back at our initial request and every subsequent request and get back to us by next week?
We will continue to provide updates as things evolve in the department. I've spent a fair amount of time on communications in this, but it's not been my biggest dedication of time. If I was to respond to the dozens of letters I've got, it would be the majority of my time. I'm happy to jump on the phone at any time to talk to you or others about it.
Mr.
And when we
Secretary,
finish
we need
our
a more thorough briefing than that, sir. I'm sort of disappointed in your answer this morning. I think it speaks for itself. Yield back.
Thank you, Ranking Member.